Right now, police are still investigating a shooting at Shake the Lake over the weekend. We have the latest details on that developing story.
We're right out in front of one of the biggest holiday weekends, what you need to know before heading out on the water.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now this morning.
Good morning, folks, and thanks for joining us on your Monday, the 1st of July. Keely Arthur pulling the short straw with a pretty sweet assignment today out on the boat.
She's like Vanna White. She was just like, look at that.
The water.
As her boat's like bobbing up and down out there.
But we have to make sure it's not raining on her. Got some dicey weather out there.
As long as she's in Madison right now, things are good. Platteville, however, a much different story. We've been watching a pretty potent thunderstorm over Grant County as a whole all morning long. It sat there for the past couple of hours, folks. So we still have a flash flood warning. That's going to go until at least 7:30. There's a possibility that that gets extended as the storm continues to sit over the same spot. Initially thinking that this storm would move further towards the east. It has not done so. It has continued to stay right where it is. Lots of lightning has been associated with that storm. We've been watching that on our sky camera as well this morning. And so here's what we've seen over the past 6 hours. Watch all these storms dove down. They've all kind of gathered around the Platteville area, and they've just been parked for the past couple of hours. More storms back throughout the Twin Cities and into South Dakota. All of this is going to be working its way towards the east in time and eventually the southeast. So we do have that severe weather threat today. We are in a marginal risk in Madison. That's level 1 out of 5, but a slight risk does show up as you work your way up towards Camp Douglas, Black River Falls, and over towards La Crosse. So as you work your way north and west, your severe threat is a little bit greater today. Hail and high winds are going to be the bigger threats. Of course, flooding will be the biggest threat of today. Outside of the storms, we'll see those temperatures top out right around 85. Still going to be very warm and humid, yes, but the heat indices will be kept down to about 90 with the clouds and the showers and storms.
I love that we're excited about a heat index of 90.
We sound like Houstoners or Houstonians right now, so I don't know. It feels like home, I guess.
Yeah, you're right at home.
Yeah.
A little less sweaty.
A little less. Maybe a little less.
Silver
humid.
lining.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, Chris.
My pleasure.
Breaking now, at least 10 people are dead after an explosion in the Afghan capital early this morning. The Taliban have claimed responsibility for the explosion in Kabul's downtown area. It happened near the U.S. Embassy, where streets were packed with morning commuters. Reports show a car bomb exploded outside a defense ministry building where militants ran into a nearby high-rise in a crowded market and began firing. The attack comes just 2 days after the U.S. and the Taliban began a 7th round of talks in Qatar.
More local news now. Police are still investigating a shooting that happened at Shake the Lake Saturday night. After a day of music, food, and fireworks, people were packing up and getting ready to leave when they heard shots fired.
So people just start running, and all of us were walking, and we're like, what's going on? And people are screaming, gunshots, gunshots, gunshots. And, you know, for a moment, you panic. You're like, wait, what is going on?
Boy, a pretty scary scenario there. Those gunshots were fired inside the Monona Terrace Tunnel on John Nolan Drive just before 10:30. People there started running for safety.
Next to me was helping cover the kids, and people running past us, others taking cover, people screaming, some people crying.
Grandson was crying and asking, you know, if he was going to die.
A 20-year-old man was shot, but police say his injuries are not considered life-threatening and that he and the shooter did know each other, so officers do not think this was a random act. A Madison police officer also hurt his leg after that initial call. Now, Madison Police Chief Mike Koval is calling the shooting an anomaly in a statement, saying, while not minimizing what could have been potentially a disastrous outcome, this sanctioned event was heavily vetted with multiple entities and staffed across the board.
Meanwhile, Madison Mayor Satya Rhodes Conway also commenting, saying it was entirely unacceptable that someone brought a gun into this family-friendly event. She says she will be working with the police and other city staff to see what measures can be taken to enhance security at Shake the Lake and other events, but also says her job is made more difficult by a, quote, state legislature that advances reckless gun laws. Some areas of southern Wisconsin are recovering yet again from another round of severe weather. In Columbia County alone, dispatchers took more than 40 weather-related calls on Sunday. Meanwhile, a Verona man is hoping his insurance comes through after his work truck seems to have been hit by lightning during yesterday's storms. Brandon Cooper of Cooper's Plumbing says one of his company's 2 work trucks won't start after a lightning strike. It scattered pieces from his antenna and also pierced holes into it. Also caused a flat tire. It's hard for Cooper to believe when his friend told him the news.
Thought it was a joke. I'm like, no way, really? He goes, yeah. It hit and a couple people saw it and it was a lot of light.
Cooper says the loss of his truck is a tough break to the company, but he's already talking with his insurance agents.
So lots of us are hoping for a 4th of July without any lightning strikes so we can get out and enjoy the water.
But there are some other safety concerns. Authorities say the number of boating citations surged during the 4th. Keely Arthur is live on a boat on Lake Mendota with the very latest on boat safety and enforcement. Hi, Keely.
Good morning. Well, there are really 3 major safety items that you need when you go boating. I'm talking about a fire extinguisher, a throwable, the right number of life vests. But the most important thing that you need to pack is your common sense. And I know that that's exactly what Todd Benish wants you to bring before heading out onto your July 4th weekend. What are some of the crazy things that you see over these weekends?
The biggest thing we see is people not sitting inside the boat. They sit on the edge, which is a very big safety hazard. You fall off the boat, you're more likely you're going to get seriously hurt. People driving recklessly, people on jet skis driving recklessly, they get too close. A lot of alcohol consumption on a hot weekend. We want to make sure that everybody's safe on the water, and that's our job.
And you were saying that a lot of times you'll come and kind of do a check and make sure that they do have the right number of flotation devices.
What happens is when we make contact with you, we do a safety check of your boat, and we have to have a reason to make contact with you. It's a probable cause for a stop. And once we do that, we're looking for life jackets, make sure you have the right number of life jackets, your Type 4 throwable, your fire extinguisher, make sure your registration's up to date, making sure your batteries are covered and secured, because that's where you start your fires, unsecured battery. So we go through all that, and to see, if you're possibly intoxicated.
You said many times you show up, you're doing a check, and somebody can't find their fire extinguisher for 5 minutes, but they don't have 5 minutes.
When your boat's on fire, you don't have 5 minutes. You need to acclimate yourself to where your stuff is on your boat, where your fire extinguisher is. It should be close by. Where all your life jackets are, they should be very easily accessible. Your Type 4 throwable should be on the deck, so when you have to throw it, you can grab it and throw it to somebody who needs it. You don't have time when things are not going well.
And everybody kind of goes into this weekend thinking it's fun, it's a party, but if you're the driver, you really need to kind of shift your mindset with that.
Not only are you responsible for yourself, you're responsible for all the passengers on your boat.
All right.
Whether it's 2 passengers or 10 passengers.
Thank you so much. Todd Benish with the Dane County Sheriff's Department. We're going to speak to him in the next half hour as well, talking about the number of OWIs that were issued last 4th of July and how we can help keep those numbers down this weekend. Back to you.
Keely Arthur bobbing up and down this morning. Thank you very much, Keely.
6:08 right now. Americans are expected to travel in record numbers this 4th of July week. AAA predicts 49 million people will be on the move, which is nearly 2 million more travelers than last year. And here's some good news. Most major construction projects across the area will be put on pause later this week, including the I-90 expansion project and work along Verona Road. Work will stop for the holiday weekend starting at noon Wednesday and won't start back up until 6 a.m. next Monday. Even though workers won't be there, you'll still have to follow those construction zone speed limits.
All right, ladies, listen up. A new study says we are twice as stressed as men, even as we're headed out the door to de-stress on vacation. That new research is based off of how women are feeling the week before they leave on vacation. They often put in extra hours to avoid that pile of work they might be returning to. Still, it is not enough to keep more than half of them from working during their off time. 50% of women say they felt more stress the week before a vacation.
Lake weed pickup for Lake Monona is happening today, and if you spend some time picking up some of that lake waste over the weekend, be sure to make sure that it's down to your pier by 7 this morning. And also, you need to remember, you're only allowed to put aquatic vegetation and other debris on your piers, not yard waste or brush. Lake Mendota's next pickup is scheduled for 1 week from today, July 8th.
And something to keep an eye on heading into the holiday. With all the rain in our area, there is more of a chance that swimming conditions in our lakes might not be safe. Bacteria levels increase after heavy rainfall, and blue-green algae could start to bloom. This morning, Tenny Beach is closed, along with the Hudson Park Lake Access Point. A reminder, if you see water that looks green or blue with puffy blobs on the surface, you should not be swimming in it.
And you're also going to want to be careful if you're swimming because of this story. A parasite called Cryptosporidium, or crypto, is spread by feces, and the CDC says they're seeing more people come down with it as cases increase by 13% each year. Most people get crypto from swimming in the pool, but you can also get it from lakes and cattle. It can cause diarrhea for as long as 3 weeks, and since chlorine and filters aren't enough to keep crypto away, you should shower off after going into the pool.
All right, 6:10 your time now. We all know spending too much time sitting can be bad for your health. Well, coming up, we'll take a look at a new study that says it's your binging habits, not necessarily your work routine, that could end up hurting you the most.
But first, Chris Reese is tracking more storms this morning, dropping a lot of rain in some areas of southern Wisconsin. He's got some flash flood warnings to talk about and also your holiday forecast. That's when News 3 Now this morning continues.
Well, we're starting to see a little bit of clearing, at least on the sky cam in Platteville, but still plenty of rain coming down to our southwest throughout parts of Grant County. It's still raining in this shot as we speak, and we've seen a lot of rain on the eastern side of Grant County this morning. Anywhere from about 2 to 4 inches of rain has come down. These are the radar estimates. So far, official reports have come upwards in the 2 to 3 inches of rain mark. And again, this is all on the eastern side of Grant County. We're still dealing with some rain in that area, but there is good news. That heaviest axis of rain is actually pushed towards the south and west just a little bit. So now you're talking Gutenberg down to Holy Cross, over towards Potosi, getting in on that heaviest rain, and not so much between Boscobel and down towards Platteville. This still remains south and west of the Madison area. This has really worked hard to actually pull a lot of the energy towards the south and west, preventing some of the showers and thunderstorms that did try to go up over the Madison area this morning. But we're not done as we go throughout the day. More energy will be diving towards the south and east from the north and west. That does mean we have to keep that shower and thunderstorm chance around, even though I don't think today will be a washout. I'll touch on that more in just a moment. Any of these storms that come through, though, do have the potential to go strong or severe. It's not the greatest chance. We do have that marginal risk. This is just level 1 out of 5, and that means you have an isolated chance for some severe storms. It becomes a bit more scattered towards the north and west. Black River Falls, Camp Douglas, up towards La Crosse and southeastern Minnesota. That's where I do think the greater severe threat will be today, not so much over us. We'll see more chances for these showers and storms to dive out of the northwest this morning and into the afternoon, but I do think we'll get some chances of some dry times as well. Temperatures will top out into the middle 80s, the upper 80s, especially as you work your way towards the west, perhaps closer towards 90, but this is the next couple of days. So tonight and into Tuesday, we'll have those chances for showers and thunderstorms sticking around in the forecast. So no one is out of the woods, per se, when it comes to the chance for showers and thunderstorms. There's good news in all of it, though. It'll keep our heat indices down about 10 to 15 degrees. So instead of feeling like 100, 105, it's going to feel like more so 85 to 90 each and every afternoon. Here's tomorrow afternoon. The heat index likely going to be into the upper 80s and low 90s as we see more clouds and chances for showers and thunderstorms again. But still, this hot, hazy, and a very humid air mass that has been driving our weather pattern, it's going to stick around for a lot of this week. But I want to show you what happens towards the end of the week. We start to get influenced by some cooler air coming out of Canada as this begins to reload and recharge across the western half of the country. So as we look at your extended forecast, we're going to see more heat, more humidity, more chances for showers and thunderstorms, but a little bit of a cool down for the weekend. Now let's go to Josh Tim with the First Alert Traffic. Josh?
Yeah, it's a quiet start on the Beltline this morning. Really no delays showing up yet. Just keep an eye out for extra brake lights near the lane shifts at Stoughton Road. Other roads here in Dane County not looking too bad. There are a few slowdowns on northbound Verona Road starting to show up near the Beltline. No delays downtown around the Capitol and on campus. Look for things to pick up over the next hour or so. And other main routes, including the interstate, moving along at the usual speeds with no major issues. Your First Alert Traffic, I'm Josh Tim.
Josh, thank you, and Chris, thank you as well. Taylor Swift is not happy this morning, and she isn't holding back. In a Tumblr post over the weekend, Swift wrote that she's sad and, quote, grossed out that her music catalog now belongs to Scooter Braun, who she says has been a bully and manipulative to her over the years. She says it's the worst case scenario. Braun's Ithaca Holdings announced it's acquiring Big Machine label group, which released all of Swift's studio albums and now owns her masters. Swift says she learned of this yesterday. Braun is a manager for stars like Justin Bieber, Ariana Grande, and Demi Lovato.
Very interesting story. All right, turns out that standing desk you've been bugging your boss to buy you, well, it isn't all that important after all. That's according to a new study showing your binge watching on the couch is more problematic than sitting all day at work. Researchers from Columbia University found that watching TV is associated with more heart attacks and mortality compared to a desk job that had no association with those health issues. The study shows people who watched 4 or more hours of TV a day had a 50% greater risk of having a heart attack. Now, Josh and I, we are pretty active. We don't watch a lot of TV.
No, we don't, but I can see 50% greater risk. That's insane. I mean, it doesn't surprise me, but
that's a big deal.
That's a big deal.
That's a big difference.
Get up and get moving.
Go on a hike with us.
There you go. 6:18 right now on a Monday morning. It was a big weekend for the Brewers, and the news is not just from their series against the Pirates. Coming up, we'll take a look at the Brewers' rise in the conference standings and some new all-stars to add to the roster.
But first, Chris Reese tracking storms across the area this morning and the threat of flooding over in Grant County. He's in next when News 3 Now This Morning returns.
Welcome back at 6:22 on a Monday morning, and we've been keeping our eyes on the lightning. It's been quite the show this morning, Chris.
It really has. So per Leah's request, of course, we're going to talk about Platteville, you know, her hometown, but of course that's where the action has been this morning.
Yeah.
We've seen several showers and thunderstorms. We had a bit of a light show earlier, but things are starting to clear out somewhat. So when you look at the Platteville sky camera,
oh wow, look at
hey,
oh my gosh,
there's some lightning just for us right there. But
I feel like it never happens when you want it to.
I know. We're easily
moment.
amused here.
Clearly. But hey, so we still have some storms around the Platteville area this morning. We're going to continue to watch those storms in the Platteville area because they've been producing a lot of heavy rainfall along with a lot of lightning. And any of that rainfall has the potential to add to the flash flooding issue that they've been seeing. We do have that flash flood warning that's going until 7:30 this morning. Most of the heavy rain now starting to move a little bit towards the south and west. So this is starting to push into northeastern Iowa, but still another batch of heavy rain trying to develop between Boscobel and Platteville and some of those same areas where we've seen radar estimates as much as 4 inches of rain or so. These storms came through this morning. They parked over that area for the last couple of hours, and I do believe that they are finally starting to make their move back towards the south and southwest. This has worked in Madison's favor a little bit just because it's stolen the energy from some of the thunderstorms that tried to go up over us this morning. I think we'll have another shot at storms this afternoon. This energy and storms that you see back across southern Minnesota has to work its way towards the south and east as well. As you head out the door this morning, here's what folks can expect. Look for temperatures to gradually warm up. We're talking 84 degrees by the time we get you towards 3 o'clock. We'll top out right around 85. Thanks to the chance for showers and thunderstorms, our heat index will not be as hot. In fact, the peak heating of the day will likely feel like 90 instead of over 100. Josh and Leah.
Thank you. 6:24 right now. The Brewers are tied for first place in the NL Central this morning after last night's win over the Pirates. Zach Davies tied the game up with his RBI single in the fourth, bringing the score to 1-1. 4 innings later, the Brewers took the lead with a home run from Eric Thames, making the winning score 2-1. Christian Yelich also hit his 1,000th career hit. They host the Reds tonight.
We will see more familiar faces at this year's MLB All-Star Game. Josh Hader, Mike Moustakas, and Yasmani Grandal all made the National League All-Star roster as reserves. They're going to join Christian Yelich, who got the most votes in the National League in Cleveland 1 week from tomorrow.
The Bucks are making some moves heading into the second day of free agency. Malcolm Brogdon is headed to Indiana, reportedly signing a 4-year, $85 million contract with the Pacers. The Bucks re-signed Chris Middleton with a 5-year, $178 million contract. He averaged 16 points and hit 39% of his three-pointers in 6 seasons with the Bucks. Brooke Lopez will also be staying with the team under a 4-year, $52 million deal.
The U.S. women's national team is pressing on to the semifinals in the 2019 World Cup tomorrow. The women are coming off a 2-1 win over host country France in Friday's quarterfinals. Both goals were scored by team co-captain Megan Rapinoe. The team hopes to keep that momentum going in their semifinals match against England at 2 tomorrow afternoon. The winner of that game will go on to play in the World Cup finals Sunday morning. Good luck to them.
Good luck. 6:22, just about your time and still ahead for us on a Monday morning. We've got the top 3 things you need to know heading into the work week.
And with one of the most major boating holidays coming up, our Keely Arthur is live to remind us what kind of tickets you could get on the water if you're not staying safe. That's when News 3 Now This Morning returns.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now this morning.
Good morning, everyone, and thanks for staying with us on this Monday, July 1st. And some of you are waking up to some very heavy rain this morning.
Oh, yeah, definitely the folks down in my neck of the woods in the Platteville area. Chris Reese is working hard to track the storms moving through our area. But first, here are the top 3 things you need to know to start your Monday. Breaking overnight into the Channel 3000 Alert Center, at least 10 people are dead in a massive explosion near the U.S. Embassy in Afghanistan. The Taliban has claimed responsibility for a car bomb explosion outside of a defense ministry building. That attack comes just 2 days after the U.S. and the Taliban started their 7th round of talks in Qatar.
Up next, in our second big story of the morning, we're expecting to hear more today from Madison police, who are still investigating a shooting that happened at Shake the Lake on Saturday night. Officers don't think it was a random act, saying a 20-year-old man was shot by someone he knew at the time. Now, this happened just before 10:30 inside the Monona Terrace Tunnel on John Nolan Drive, right after the fireworks. Madison police officer also sustained a leg injury after that initial call.
And the third thing to know this morning, President Trump is back in the U.S. after a historic trip to Asia. He is now the first sitting president to cross into North Korea after a conversation with leader Kim Jong-un just over the border this weekend. The two talked for almost an hour, then agreed to restart nuclear talks within the next few weeks.
Those are the top 3 things we need to know this morning. And now Chris Reese has the top things we need to know about weather and traffic. Good morning, Chris.
Good morning, guys. I'm going to get a little love to the temperatures this morning, simply because we've been so focused on the storms. Temperatures have gotten left out, but it's a mild morning as you begin to head out the door. 69 degrees in Madison right now, Mineral Point, Platteville, and Boscobel all at 70. We put this in motion. Let's go through the next 12 hours. Temperatures begin to come up. We'll likely top out right around 85 degrees or so today, and it's likely will be kept a little bit cooler due to a chance for some showers and thunderstorms. Now, of course, we've been watching those showers and storms over Platteville this morning in particular. That's where we have that flash flood warning. The rain still coming down and a lot of lightning in that area, but it's starting to move towards the south. Dyersville starting to get in on more of these storms, but at that point, you're pushing into Iowa and out of Wisconsin. Let's zoom things out now. This is the upper Midwest. You have multiple storms that are kind of following a pattern around this ridge of heat. So they're going to curve somewhat in this manner. So that's why we've seen a lot of these showers and thunderstorms coming out of the north and west going through the past couple of days. And that's going to continue. There's a threat for some of these to be severe this afternoon. That greatest threat's going to be western Wisconsin. You're talking Black River Falls over towards La Crosse. The biggest threat is going to be the chance for high winds, which is what we've really seen more of over the past 24 to 48 hours. Of course, we'll have to watch that localized flooding threat as well. But as a recap, this morning temperatures will go from about 71 to 81. We'll see those chances for showers and thunderstorms again this afternoon as well, with actual air temperatures around 85. Leah.
Ooh, all right. Thank you very much, Chris. So a sunny day spent out on the water, arguably one of the best ways to celebrate Independence Day here in Wisconsin.
But boating during one of the busiest times for our local waterways also has its dangers. Keely Arthur is live on a boat on Lake Mendota to talk about boat safety and enforcement this morning. Hi, Keely.
Hi, I know you're going to want me to say this, so I'll say it. I'm on a boat. Very exciting assignment and very important one, too. There are 3 major safety items you need on your boat when you're going boating. A throwable. Keep that on deck. You also need the right number of life vests depending on how big your boat is, and of course a fire extinguisher. I have here with me Todd Benish of the Dane County Sheriff's Department. Thank you so much for getting up early with us, taking us out here. You also want people to pack something else, their common sense. You said things can get a little hectic, especially on a 4th of July weekend.
Especially on 4th of July weekend. People like to come out at night for fireworks. Make sure your lights are working before you come on the water. Do a pre-check of your boat. Make sure you have everything you just mentioned. Make sure your batteries are covered. And also watch your alcohol consumption. What happens is it sounds like it's going to be hot. Temperature's going to be up. People kind of lose track of fluid intakes. Alcohol will act differently when it's very hot. 'Cause you got to drink water also. Hydrate besides beer.
And this is a weekend where there's going to be tons of boats on the water. As far as swimmers go, how far should you be keeping your distance? We have tubers, kids, all kinds of stuff.
You should be watching. I mean, as you're operating your boat, you need to be looking all around and maintain control of your boat, speed-wise. Just stay far away from people. There's no brakes on boats. You can't stop a boat just like that.
And we've talked about this a little bit, but you said that, driving a boat is like driving a car. You really need to be, have your wits about you.
Correct.
And what are the rules there as far as OWIs and boating goes?
OWI boating, it's the same limit, 0.08 as in a vehicle. Anything over 0.08 is considered legally intoxicated in the state of Wisconsin.
And I know that there were 2 OWIs issued last year on 4th of July.
Correct. Right, in fact, on this lake.
Yeah, and I know you said that there was one just right over there.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. It was a fireworks show, and unfortunately, too much alcohol was consumed.
All right. Well, hopefully people are, maybe just a little bit better this year. We can always improve. Yeah.
We just want everybody to be safe and have fun. I mean, that's our goal. Keep everybody safe.
Thank you so much again for being with us here, telling us that important information. We have a full list of voting laws for the state of Wisconsin up on our website, channel3000.com. Be sure to check that out.
All right, Keely Arthur with the toughest assignment of the day ahead of 4th of July. Thank you very much, Keely.
All right, right now, a 9-year-old child has life-threatening injuries after an ATV crash in the town of Emmett. The Dodge County Sheriff's Office says a 48-year-old man was driving an ATV with a 9-year-old passenger when he lost control at the intersection of County Highway M and Rhine Road. This happened just before 9:30 Saturday night. It caused the ATV to roll over and throw the man and child off of the vehicle. The cause of the crash is still under investigation this morning, but officials do believe alcohol was a factor.
A man from Wisconsin says he illegally shipped guns to an Australian weapons dealer and fooled customs officials in the meantime. The Journal Sentinel reports Andy Hubschman from New Holstein admitted in federal court that he sent the dealer pistols and rifle parts to turn those guns into fully automatic weapons. He hid them in a crate with a secret compartment. He is now facing up to 20 years in prison.
Around the state this morning, Foxconn's new plant outside Racine might not be up and running according to schedule. WPR reports the company appears to have delayed the opening of the manufacturing plant. That's according to an email sent out by a state agency. The building was supposed to be done by the end of 2020, but that email mentioned an end date as early 2021. A spokesperson for Foxconn said there is no delay, but didn't elaborate.
All right, 6:36 your time now. There is a new push by Pepsi to cut back on the amount of plastic it's using. We'll tell you about that next.
Plus, online alcohol sales are on the rise, but one city in our area is trying to suppress these sales. How they plan to do just that on News 3 Now this morning.
right, so we always ask you to share your morning with us here on the program. Looks like we're having some technical difficulties because you are missing one of the most beautiful photos sent in by, I do believe, Kevin this morning. He had sent in a lovely photo. We'll try and get to that later. Oh, there it is. Perfect. There we go. Kevin sending in this beautiful photo of a rainbow and then, of course, this cow in the foreground. You know that's why I picked it.
And I like the rainbow, you like the cow.
That's exactly what happened there. Thanks so much for sharing, Kevin.
If you've got a picture you'd like to share, all you have to do is go to our social media and use the hashtag MyNews3Morning. Put a cow in there and a rainbow and it'll probably make the air. We thank you for making us part of your morning. All right, Pepsi is doing its part to cut down on the production of plastic and is also planning on using more aluminum cans. Its water brand, Aquafina, will be served in cans at restaurant chains across the U.S. Some retail stores will also be part of the testing. Pepsi CEO says cutting down on plastic waste is a top priority. The changes will happen next year and could cut 8,000 metric tons of plastic waste. Pepsi's Life Water and soda brands will still be available in plastic bottles.
While some grocery stores here in Wisconsin push to be able to sell alcohol online, one community could try to restrict the practice. WPR reports La Crosse is considering an ordinance on the issue. It would set limits on when people could order online, cutting them off at 2 p.m., and would also require those shoppers to pick up their purchases by 6 that same day. City Council is expected to act on that ordinance later this month. All right, 6:41 your time now. Plenty of weather to keep an eye on this morning. We have heavy rain, humidity, and the chance for flooding, keeping our Chris Reese very busy on his Monday. We'll check in with him next.
But first, if you have a little kid turning 3 soon, you should send us those. We thank you for watching News 3 Now this morning. We'll be right back.
You're taking a live look at the west side of Madison on this Monday morning. It has been lighting up all morning long. Our drive in, Josh, pretty Pretty colorful, huh?
We've had some ominous situations lately, just like every day it seems like 1 or 2 times. And I know Chris Reese always loves the shelfies or the selfies, but you got to take the shelfie with it.
Chris, do we have any ominous situations in the forecast?
Maybe. We'll watch the chances for more showers and thunderstorms. Right now, I'll tell you what, though, temperatures are mild to get the morning started. 69 right now in Madison, Mineral Point and Platteville at 70. Boscobel also at 70. La Crosse has made it towards 70 as well. We're going to have a very warm day once again out there. Winds are calm, though, and the humidity is also up. 90% humidity. There is a lot of moisture in the air, folks. That has fueled a lot of the showers and thunderstorms that we've seen. This is Platteville right now. There's still lightning on this camera, by the way. I noticed it just moments ago. But Platteville is where we have had some potent showers and thunderstorms this morning. That's about the only ominous situation we can find, but it's truly a big deal. You're talking 3 to 4 inches of rain that has come down just this morning alone, all over the same spots from a thunderstorm that sat over the same area. So we have a flash flood warning there. That's going to go for about the next 45 minutes or so. Most of the heaviest rain now has moved into northeastern Iowa. That's the good news. The heaviest rain is now starting to move away from the areas that it sat over for the past couple of hours. Most of this has been towards the west of Madison and towards the west of I-3990. A lot of these storms were initially thought that they would reach our area. However, the strong storms over Platteville really took a lot of that energy back towards the west, and that's where we're seeing those storms right now. Still more storms are firing up throughout parts of Minnesota. Those will be diving towards the south and east today. We'll watch that, and that's why we're going to keep that rain chance around. There's a marginal risk, though, for some of those to be on the strong to severe side. The greatest threat is going to be up towards Camp Douglas, Black River Falls, and then over towards La Crosse as we go through today. So pay attention to the weather, but I don't think we're going to see a big severe weather outbreak. Some of our better severe weather events per se were probably yesterday and then on Thursday. Let's put this into motion. I do think we will see dry periods throughout the afternoon with some sunshine, and that's where those temperatures are really going to come up into the 80s. But then those showers and thunderstorms fire right back up, and that's going to linger into Tuesday, folks. So the next couple of days are going to be very unsettled. It is not just today, but the storms will keep the heat indices in check. We're talking feels like temperatures being in the upper 80s and low 90s instead of upper 90s and low 100s due to the chances for those showers and thunderstorms helping to keep the temperatures down a little bit, but it's still going to be very humid, folks, as we go through the next couple of days. This hot, hazy, humid air mass will be staying in control over the eastern 2/3 of the country. But this weekend, a little bit of a change begins to work in. Watch some of this cooler air from Canada. That's going to try to push southward a little bit and give us a little bit of a cool down to where those temperatures will be, say, closer to average for this time of the year. But as we go through the next 7 to 10 days, folks, we're keeping the shower and thunderstorm chances around through Saturday. Temperatures staying in the 80s until that cold front keeps us in the 70s by the weekend. I think I'm looking forward to that because it's certainly been hot. Here's your pet walk. Oh, Nanook and Janesville looking absolutely adorable. If you're walking your dog later on this afternoon, you may have to play a little splash and dash. We'll see those temperatures in the mid-80s.
She shares the same name as our polar bear.
Yeah, no, that's Nunique.
Oh, you're right. Dang it.
Close enough.
Close enough. She kind of looks like a polar bear.
She kind of does.
Yeah. Bit of a stretch. All right. Thank you, Chris.
My pleasure. Stay with us. The morning sprint is coming up next.
Oh, no. Just about 6:52, time for the morning sprint to get you out the door with all the local news you need to know to start your Monday.
We start this morning in Madison, where we're expecting to hear more today from police investigating Saturday's shooting at Shake the Lake. People were packing up and getting ready to leave just before 10:30 when they heard shots fired from inside the Monona Terrace Tunnel on John Nolan Drive. A 20-year-old man was shot, but police say his injuries are not considered life-threatening, and he and the shooter did know each other.
Some areas of southern Wisconsin are recovering yet again after another round of severe weather this weekend. In Columbia County alone, dispatchers took more than 40 weather-related calls on Sunday. A majority of damage came from the wind, but also some lightning damage. One Verona business lost a truck after it was hit by lightning.
And we're still seeing more showers and thunderstorms this morning. We have a flash flood warning until 7:30 for the eastern half of Grant County. More showers and thunderstorms will be moving in from the north and west, so we're keeping the shower and storm chance around going through the day. Temperature-wise, as you head out the door, we're in the upper 60s and low 70s. Look for those temperatures to top out right around 85 with more chances for storms into the afternoon.
Chris, thank you. Breaking overnight, at least 10 people are dead in a massive explosion near the U.S. Embassy in Afghanistan. The Taliban has claimed responsibility for the car bomb explosion outside of a military defense building. The attack comes 2 days after the U.S. and the Taliban began the 7th round of talks in Qatar.
Japan officially resumes commercial whaling today after pulling out of an international ban they've been a part of now for more than 30 years. Supporters of the decision argue that it is an important part of Japanese history and culture. Animal rights groups, the International Whaling Commission, and Western governments have all condemned the move.
Hong Kong is celebrating 22 years since Britain handed it over to China, but large anti-government protests are crowding the streets following several weeks of mass demonstrations against the controversial extradition bill. Protesters today have attempted to break into the parliament and legislative buildings that are now forming a barricade with umbrellas.
President Trump is back in the U.S. this morning after a historic trip to Asia. He is now the first sitting president to cross into North Korea after a conversation with leader Kim Jong-un just over the border this weekend. The two talked for almost an hour and agreed to restart nuclear talks within the next few weeks.
Before heading out on the boat this 4th of July weekend, you need 3 major safety items on your boat: a throwable on deck, and also the right number of life vests and a fire extinguisher. You also need to pack your common sense. Out of the 8 OWIs Dane County Sheriff's officials issued between January 2018 and June 2019 on the water, 2 happened on the last 4th of July. Now, driving drunk on the boat, just as bad as driving drunk in the car. You're going to get a ticket if you drive above 0.08 or more. For more boating details and laws, head to our website, channel3000.com.
Keely, thank you. With all of the recent rain, there is a greater chance that swimming conditions in lakes might not be safe. Bacteria levels increase after heavy rainfall, and blue-green algae could start to bloom. This morning, Tenny Beach is closed along with Hudson Park Lake access. A reminder, if you do see water that looks green or blue with the puffy blobs on the surface, you should not be swimming in it.
Lake weed pickup for Lake Monona is happening today. If you spent some time picking up all of that lake waste over the weekend, make sure to get all of it down to your piers by 7 this morning. You're only allowed to put aquatic vegetation and other debris on your piers, not yard waste or brush. Lake Mendota's next pickup is scheduled for next week on July 8th.
The Brewers are tied for first in the NL Central this morning after last night's win over the Pirates. Zach Davies tied the game with an RBI single in the 4th, bringing the score to 1-1. 4 innings later, the Brewers took the lead with a home run from Eric Thames, making the winning score 2-1. Christian Yelich also hit his 1,000th career hit. They host the Reds tonight.
The Bucks are making moves heading into the second day of free agency. Malcolm Brogdon is heading to Indiana, reportedly signing a 4-year, $85 million contract with the Pacers. The Bucks re-signed Chris Middleton with a 5-year, $178 million contract. He averaged 16 points and hit 39% of his three-pointers in 6 seasons with the Bucks. Brooke Lopez will also be staying with the team under a 4-year, $52 million deal.
The U.S. women's national team is pressing on to the semifinals in the 2019 World Cup tomorrow. The women are coming off a 2-1 win over host country France in Friday's quarterfinals. The women's national team hopes to keep the momentum going into the semifinals match against England at 2 tomorrow afternoon. The winner of that game will go on to play in the World Cup finals Sunday morning.
6:56. Time to turn it over to Josh Tim with the final look at your First Alert traffic. Hi, Josh.
Good morning, guys. A few brake lights are starting to show up on the westbound Beltline near the lane shifts between Stoughton Road and Monona Drive, but otherwise, it's a smooth commute so far. Inbound John Nolan beginning to get busier near the Rimrock and Olin Avenue intersections heading into downtown. Rona Road, you're picking up between the Beltline and Highway PD in both directions. And other main routes, including the interstate, they're moving along at the usual speeds with no major crashes or delays. Your First Alert traffic, I'm Josh Tim.
Thank you very much, Josh.
And we continue to watch temperatures that are right around 70 degrees. We'll see those chances for showers and thunderstorms going throughout the day. Afternoon highs will be right around 85. When it comes towards the heat index, the chance of storms is going to keep things just a little bit cooler, keeping the heat indices in check around 90, oddly enough. But as we go through the next 7 to 10 days, folks, we're keeping the active weather around, but temperatures cool down by the weekend.
Ooh, thank you very much, Chris.
Thanks for joining us, everyone. Make it a great day. We'll see you back here tomorrow morning.